Hey guys, today we're going to do a Child's Play review, and to start it off, we have Tom Holland as the director. Child's Play 1988. Let's go with that. We have Tom Holland as the director. We have John Mancini and John LaFaya, if I'm not mistaken, as the writers. And it starts off with Brad Dourif, which is the guy that plays Charles Lee Ray, and Detective Mike, and a little bit of Eddie Caputo. I don't know their actual names. They're running down. Brad Dourif is Charles Lee Ray is running down the street trying to shoot at Detective Mike, and Mike is shooting at him. They get to a store. Charles Lee Ray gets to the van, but he gets shot before he gets there, and Eddie Caputo leaves Eddie. So they're still shooting at each other. Brad Dourif gets to the store where he finds the doll, and Charles Lee Ray gets shot again in the chest. I believe it's the chest or the stomach. And he transfers his soul into the Chucky doll. The good guy doll. And that's where we get Chucky. That's where the story pretty much starts. We go to a little boy on his birthday. He wants a good guy doll. His name's Andy Barkley. He's got his mom. And of course, he doesn't get his good guy doll, but during the day, when his mom goes to work, she gets a doll from a peddler, and he gives it to him, and, you know, he's having fun with the doll and everything, and he's got Aunt Maggie, which is the person that is watching Andy, and this is our first kill in this film, where Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news because Eddie Caputo has escaped from jail, and Maggie says no, and so Chucky puts it on himself to watch the news himself, and that doesn't work, and Aunt Maggie blames Andy. Andy says it's not him, and then Maggie just pretty much dies by a hammer. And she gets thrown, and when she gets hit by the hammer by Chucky, she gets thrown out of the window. So, like, that's our first kill. Andy Barkley sounds strange to everyone, saying that Chucky was the one that was on the counter, and that he's the one that called Aunt Maggie a bitch, and pretty much Andy Barkley goes with Chucky to Eddie Caputo's house, so he can kill Eddie Caputo, and that doesn't work very well either. In Andy's favor, Andy gets thrown in a I guess sanitarium. No, institution. I don't know what kind of institution, and pretty much the mom takes the doll home, and the mom finds out the doll hasn't had batteries the whole time that Chucky has been talking. And it's pretty funny. This is the first time we actually get to see Chucky in full mobile, because the times we've seen him is only like him running across the room, and you barely see him. So, you know, he's yelling and cursing at her when she tells him he's gonna throw him in the fire, and he bites her. It's a really good scene. I absolutely loved it. And then we go to Mike, and Mike has an encounter with Chucky, and of course Mike, before Mike has an encounter with Chucky, he doesn't believe the mom either, because she shows him she got bit and all that stuff, and Mike gets an encounter with Chucky. He tries to stab him. He wrecks his car, shoots Chucky in the shoulder. Of course, it hurts. Chucky doesn't understand why it hurts, so he goes to his voodoo master. Don't know his name, can't remember his name, and pretty much says, "Why does it hurt?" And he says, "You're turning human," which I think that's when the lore, because if you go to number 2 and 3 and the rest of them, the lore starts to change a little bit. But this is our first lore where when he did the transfer and he's in the doll too long, he starts to turn human. I think, and like, it's interesting because like I think this is the only thing I don't like about the film is that he's got to transfer his soul into Andy Barclay, and he doesn't get to do it in number 1, but in number 2 he almost does it, but he thinks it's too late. Then in number 4, which is Bride of Chucky, they need an amulet that was around his neck when he died. So they kind of jump around on the lore thing. So it's kind of iffy. So that's the only thing. They're inconsistent with that. Where was I? Oh yeah. So Chucky follows Andy to the institution where Andy is, and this is where we get our second kill. Was it our second kill? No, Eddie Picciuto was our second kill. Our third kill was the doctor. He puts the electroshock on his head and electrifies him to death. That's our third kill, which is a pretty good kill. And pretty much we go back to the house, and pretty much Chucky has Andy in the position laying down on the floor, about to say Ade, Dewey, Damela, and they obviously stop Chucky from doing it. They burn him alive. Dad doesn't stop him. He starts walking towards Andy and his mom, and then they shoot off his arm. They shoot off his head, and that finally stops him, we think. And then they're in the bedroom, and the other detective comes in and makes fun of Detective Mike for saying that the doll was alive and all this stuff, and he brings in the doll's head and starts messing with it, and then Chucky's arm grabs the detective, and Chucky's yelling, "Kill him, get him," all this kind of stuff, and then finally the last blow is where Chucky gets hit in the chest, where the heart is, where the voodoo doctor says you have to shoot the heart, and that's where we end on Child's Play 1. Now, the only negative I have in Child's Play 1 is there's not a lot of... Chucky doesn't come mobilized until that point in half of the film. Until that point where... I mean, yeah, there's that one scene where he's messing with Maggie. He runs across the screen, but we really don't get to see him, like, move. We see his head turn and blink and stuff, but we don't get to see him move until his mom tries to force him into the fire to make him speak. And I think number 2 does this better. We see Chucky move automatically. We all the way through, non-stop. So I think this is where Child's Play 2 does better. Some people say that the whole possession of the doll, you could just kick the doll and it dies. It don't bug me as much because I like dolls. The Annabelle thing, there's a lot of people that don't like that. I enjoy Annabelle. So, I think that stems from Slappy from Goosebumps. I love haunted dolls, possessed dolls. It's just my thing. But really, I don't even have a negative for this film. Yeah, I have one negative. I don't have any more negatives than that. The rest of it's positive. You have great actors. I don't think there's anything wrong with the film besides that Chucky doesn't get to be mobilized as much. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, that follow, and have a good day.